The Crimson Wastes. Commander Sarah Chen squinted through the swirling red dust of Mars Bally's Marinaris, her helmet's filters struggling to compensate for the intense storm. The massive canyon system had always held secrets, but what her team had discovered went beyond anything in humanity's wildest dreams. Movement detected at bearing 270. Dr. James Rodriguez reported from his position at the survey equipment. Whatever that energy signature is, it's getting stronger. The expedition team of 5 stood before a massive crystalline structure that somehow had remained hidden from orbital scans until now. Its surface pulsed with an inner light that seemed to respond to their presence, creating patterns that defied explanation. Analysis confirms it's not natural formation, Dr. Emily Wong added, her hands dancing across her tablet's interface. The crystalline matrix appears to be engineered at the quantum level. This is definitely not human technology. Sarah took a cautious step forward, her boot crunching on the Martian soil. 15 years of space exploration had prepared her for many things, but this discovery would change everything. The structure's surface rippled like liquid metal, responding to her proximity. "Hold position," she commanded as her team instinctively moved to follow. "Let's not rush into." Before she could finish, a beam of light erupted from the structure's apex, scanning each team member before focusing on Sarah. A voice filled their comm systems, speaking in perfectly clear English despite its otherworldly origin. "Your species has advanced more quickly than anticipated. The Guardian awaits." The ground beneath them trembled as a section of the structure began to transform, revealing a doorway that seemed to lead into impossible space. Beyond the threshold, they could see a chamber that shouldn't have fit within the structure's visible dimensions. Dr. Rodriguez's instruments went wild. "Commander, I'm picking up temporal distortions. Whatever this is, it's bending space-time itself." Sarah made her decision. "Dr. Wong, establish a secure link to Earth Command. Everyone else, defensive formation. We're going in, but we do this by the book." As they crossed the threshold, the familiar red landscape of Mars gave way to an environment that challenged their understanding of reality. The chamber was alive with holographic displays showing star systems, temporal maps, and what appeared to be historical records of Earth's development. In the center stood a being that defied description. Its form shifted between states of matter, sometimes appearing solid, sometimes like living light. When it spoke, its words carried weight beyond their meaning. "I am the guardian of the Nexus, left here by the precursors to watch over your world's development. You have reached the first milestone sooner than expected." Sarah stepped forward, her training kicking in despite the extraordinary circumstances. "I am Commander Sarah Chen of the United Earth Space Command. We come in peace and seek to understand." The Guardian's form solidified slightly, taking on a more humanoid appearance. "Understanding comes with responsibility, Commander. Your world stands on the brink of joining a larger community, but there are those who would prevent this." Suddenly, alarms blared through their suit systems. Dr. Rodriguez's voice carried urgency. "Multiple objects entering Mars orbit. They're not ours, and they're moving fast." The Guardian's form flickered with what might have been concern. "They have found us. The Harbingers come to prevent your ascension, as they have done to countless others before you." Sarah's mind raced with implications. These Harbingers, they're hostile. They believe themselves to be preservers of cosmic order, but they are merely agents of stagnation. They destroy civilizations they deem unworthy of advancement. The Guardian turned to face the crystalline walls, which now showed massive ships entering Mars' atmosphere. "You have a choice, Commander. You can flee, and your species will be deemed unready. Or you can stand with me and prove humanity's worth." Sarah looked at her team, seeing the same determination in their eyes that she felt. "We didn't come all this way to run. What do you need us to do?" The Guardian's form brightened. "Your courage honors the precursor's faith in your potential. But know this, if we proceed, your world will never be the same. The knowledge I possess, the technologies I guard, They will transform your civilization. Are you prepared for that responsibility? Sarah thought of Earth, of humanity's long journey from cave paintings to the stars. We're ready. For better or worse, humanity's future lies among the stars. As if in response to her words, the chamber began to transform. Sections of wall became control interfaces calibrated for human use. The Guardians' form separated into multiple projections, each facing a different team member. Then let us begin. Your species' trial by fire approaches, and we have little time. The Harbingers must be shown that humanity's potential outweighs their fears. Dr. Wang's voice carried excitement barely contained by professional restraint. Commander, these interfaces, they're showing us technologies centuries beyond our current level. Quantum manipulation, gravity control, even temporal mechanics. Focus on defensive systems first, Sarah ordered, her tactical mind already analyzing potential scenarios. If these harbingers are coming to test us, let's make sure we're ready to pass with flying colors. As her team worked to understand and integrate the ancient technologies, Sarah couldn't help but feel the weight of the moment. In less than an hour, humanity had gone from being alone in the universe to standing on the front lines of a cosmic conflict. But as she watched her team adapt to and begin mastering technologies that should have been beyond their comprehension, she felt a surge of pride. The Guardian observed their progress with what seemed like approval. Your adaptability is remarkable. Perhaps the precursors were right. Humanity's greatest strength lies not in your technology, but in your ability to face the unknown with both wisdom and courage. Red dust continued to swirl outside the structure, but within, humanity's first steps toward a larger destiny were being taken. The trial ahead would test them all, but Sarah Chen knew one thing with certainty: they would face it together. The price of knowledge. The crystalline chamber hummed with energy as Sarah's team worked to integrate the ancient defense systems. Through the structure's translucent walls, they could see the Harbinger ships descending through Mars' atmosphere like dark stars, their hulls absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Defense grid is at 60% capacity, Dr. Rodriguez reported, his fingers dancing across the alien interface. But there's something odd about these readings. The Harbinger ships, they're not just advanced, they're impossible. The Guardian's form flickered between team members. The Harbingers exist partially outside normal space-time. It is how they have maintained their technological superiority for eons. But this is also their weakness. Dr. Wong looked up from her station, eyes wide with realization. The quantum signatures, they're maintaining a stable state through active manipulation. If we could disrupt that, we'd need a massive amount of energy, Sarah interjected, her tactical mind racing. More than this facility can generate. The Guardian's form coalesced into a single point. There is a way. The precursors left more than just this outpost. Beneath the surface of your red planet lies a network of power nodes. If activated, they could provide the energy needed. But, Sarah prompted, recognizing the hesitation in the Guardian's tone. Activating the network would reveal other facilities to the Harbingers, facilities containing knowledge your species may not be ready for. The price of survival may be too rapid an advancement. Sarah's response was cut short by new alarms. Dr. Rodriguez's voice carried urgency. Multiple impacts detected, their landing ground forces. Through the facility's sensors, they watched as massive shapes emerged from the Harbinger ships. Beings that seemed to shift between solid and energy states, wielding weapons that distorted the very fabric of reality around them. Those aren't just soldiers, Dr. Wong breathed. They're like living weapons. The Guardian's form pulsed with what might have been concern. The Harbingers send their null warriors. They will attempt to reach this facility and destroy the knowledge it contains, along with anyone who has accessed it. Sarah made her decision. Dr. Wong, Dr. Rodriguez, start working on that disruption theory. Lieutenant Harris, coordinate with Earth Command. They need to know what's coming. She turned to the Guardian. Show me these power nodes. We'll deal with the consequences of advancement after we survive this. The chamber's displays shifted, revealing a complex network of underground facilities. The Guardians' form split again, one part staying to assist the science team, while another led Sarah to a new section of the facility. The nearest node lies 2 kilometers beneath us, the Guardian explained. But reaching it will require traversing tunnels that have not been accessed in millennia. And I'm guessing those Null warriors will be trying to stop us, Sarah added grimly. Indeed, but the precursors left more than just knowledge. A section of wall transformed, revealing a chamber filled with what could only be described as advanced combat suits. These were meant for your species when you were ready. It seems that time is now. Sarah approached one of the suits, its surface rippling in response to her proximity. As she touched it, the material flowed over her existing spacesuit, integrating with and enhancing it. Information flooded her neural interface as the suit's systems came online. "This is incredible," she breathed, feeling the suit's power systems synchronize with her own movements. But why did the precursors leave all this for us? The Guardian's form seemed to grow more solid, because they saw in humanity what the Harbingers fear, the potential for rapid growth combined with moral development. Your species learns quickly, adapts constantly, but also shows capacity for wisdom and compassion that few others have achieved. Sarah tested the suit's systems, marveling at how naturally it responded. "You make it sound like we're special." "You are." The precursors believed that humanity might succeed where they failed, finding a balance between advancement and wisdom. But first, you must survive this trial. New alarms blared through the facility. Dr. Rodriguez's voice crackled over the comm. "Commander, we've got multiple breaches. The Null warriors are inside the perimeter." Sarah activated her suit's tactical systems, watching as enhanced sensor data flooded her display. "Time to prove the precursors right. Guardian, guide me to that power node. Everyone else, hold your positions and stay alive. Humanity's future depends on it." As Sarah moved toward the facility's lower levels, she could hear the sounds of battle echoing through the ancient corridors. The Null warriors had breached multiple sections, their reality-warping weapons creating havoc with the facility's systems. But with each step, she felt more in tune with the precursor suit's capabilities. It wasn't just armor. It was a symbiotic system that enhanced her natural abilities while providing access to technologies she was only beginning to understand. "Commander," Dr. Wong's voice came through clearly despite the interference. "We've identified a potential weakness in the Harbinger ship's quantum field, but we'll need precise timing with the power node activation." "Understood," Sarah replied, moving deeper into the facility's ancient heart. "Just keep them busy until I reach the node." The Guardian's presence remained with her, its form adapting to provide illumination in the darkened corridors. "The Null warriors will sense the suit's energy signature. They will come for you." "Let them come," Sarah responded, checking her position relative to the power node. It's time they learned that humanity doesn't back down from a fight. As if in response to her words, the corridor ahead warped and twisted as several Null warriors phased through the walls. Their forms were nightmarish, shifting between states of matter in ways that hurt to look at directly. Sarah felt no fear. The suit's systems merged with her combat training, presenting multiple tactical options. As the Null warriors raised their weapons, she smiled beneath her helmet. The real test was about to begin. Shadows of the enemy. The first Null warrior's attack bent space itself, turning the corridor into a twisting maze of gravitational distortions. But Sarah's enhanced reflexes, combined with the precursor suit's capabilities, allowed her to move through the chaos with impossible grace. Their phase-shifting technology leaves them vulnerable during transition. The Guardian's voice guided her. The suit can exploit these moments. Sarah didn't respond verbally. She didn't need to. The suit's neural interface translated her intentions into action instantly. As a Null warrior shifted between states, she struck. The suit's energy field disrupted the warrior's quantum matrix, causing its form to destabilize. "Commander," Dr. Wong's voice cut through the battle. "The facility's sensors are detecting massive energy buildups in the Harbinger ships. They're preparing something big." Sarah ducked under a reality-warping blast, her suit absorbing the residual energy. "Specifics, Doctor." "They're creating some kind of temporal barrier around Mars. If they complete it, Earth won't be able to send reinforcements and will be trapped in a time dilation field." The Guardian's form pulsed with urgency. "The Harbingers seek to isolate and eliminate potential threats. They have used this strategy before." Sarah launched a counterattack, her suit channeling stored energy into focused beams that forced the Null warriors back. "How much time?" 20 minutes, maybe less," Dr. Wong replied. "Rodriguez is trying to interfere with their field generation, but their technology is incredibly advanced." "Not advanced enough," Sarah grunted, diving through a quantum distortion to avoid another attack. Humanity didn't come this far to be stopped by bullies with fancy toys. The precursor suit was learning, adapting to her fighting style and the Null warrior's patterns. Each movement became more efficient, each counterattack more precise. The ancient technology wasn't just responding to her, it was evolving with her. "Guardian," she called out while maintaining pressure on the enemy forces, "you said the precursors saw potential in humanity. What exactly did they see?" The Guardian's form shifted, creating a protective barrier as Sarah moved deeper into the facility. "Your species possesses a unique combination of traits. You adapt rapidly, think creatively, and most importantly, you dream. Where others see limitations, humans see possibilities." A massive blast from a Null warrior's weapon nearly breached the barrier. Sarah rolled to cover, her suit automatically reinforcing damaged sections. "Commander," Lieutenant Harris broke in. "Earth Command reports multiple anomalies appearing in orbit. The Harbinger ships are creating some kind of network." "The temporal barrier," the Guardian confirmed. "They seek to isolate this entire sector of space-time." Sarah checked her position, still 1/2 kilometer from the power node. "Dr. Wong, what happens if they succeed?" "Based on these readings, they could theoretically keep us in a time bubble where seconds for us would be years outside. They could wait us out while the rest of humanity remains frozen in time, unable to advance or help." The implications hit Sarah hard. This wasn't just about their survival anymore, it was about humanity's future. The Harbingers weren't just trying to stop them, they were trying to prevent humanity's entire civilization from advancing. "Not happening," she growled, pushing forward through another wave of Null warriors. The suit responded to her determination, channeling more power into its offensive systems. "Commander," Dr. Rodriguez's voice carried excitement despite the tension. "I think we found something. The precursor database shows similar attempts by the Harbingers in the past. There's a pattern to their temporal technology. Can we use it?" "Maybe." The power nodes weren't just for energy, they were designed to manipulate space-time itself, if we can activate them in the right sequence. A massive tremor shook the facility. Through the neural interface, Sarah could see the Harbinger ships positioning themselves around Mars, their temporal weapons charging. "Whatever we're going to do, we need to do it fast," she urged, dispatching another Null warrior with a precisely timed energy burst. The Guardian's form suddenly intensified. They have begun the final sequence. Once completed, the temporal barrier will be impossible to breach. Sarah reached a massive door, ancient symbols pulsing with inner light across its surface. "This the power node?" "Yes, but Commander, you should know. Activating it will do more than provide power. It will awaken other systems, other facilities across Mars. The advancement in human knowledge will be dramatic and irreversible." Another tremor, stronger this time. Through the facility's sensors, Sarah could see the temporal barrier beginning to form, a web of distorted space-time spreading across the Martian sky. "Dr. Wong, if we do this, can you disrupt their barrier?" Theoretically, yes. The power node's energy signature should create quantum interference patterns that… Simple version, Doctor. We can break their toys if you give us enough power. Sarah placed her hand on the door, feeling the ancient mechanisms respond to her suit's interface. Guardian, you said humans dream. Well, we dream of a future among the stars, not trapped in some temporal prison. Whatever knowledge comes with this, we'll handle it. The door began to open, revealing a chamber that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions at once. At its center, a crystalline structure pulsed with untapped power. Very well, Commander, the Guardian's form merged with the chamber's systems. Let us show the Harbingers why the precursors chose humanity as their successors. Sarah stepped into the chamber, her suit interfacing with systems that had waited millennia for this moment. Above, the Harbinger ships continued weaving their temporal trap. But they were about to learn an important lesson about humanity. Never underestimate a species that refuses to accept limitations. Trial by fire. The power node's activation sent waves of energy coursing through the ancient facility. Sarah's suit interfaced directly with the systems, feeding her mind with information that would have taken years to process normally. But there was no time for wonder. The Harbinger's temporal barrier was nearly complete. Energy spike confirmed. Dr. Rodriguez's voice carried over the comm. The node's output is beyond anything we've ever measured. Dr. Wong, are you seeing this? Seeing and barely believing, Wong responded. The quantum interference patterns are exactly what we need, but Commander, the power levels are increasing exponentially. The other nodes across Mars are activating in sequence. Through her enhanced perception, Sarah could feel it. Each node that came online added to a growing network of power and information. The Guardian's presence merged with the systems, guiding the process. The Harbingers respond, the Guardian announced. They recognize the pattern. They know what comes next. Above, the massive ships shifted formation. Their temporal barrier wavered as they diverted power to weapons systems. The first shots struck Mars' surface with reality-bending force, creating craters where space-time itself was torn apart. They're targeting the other nodes. Lieutenant Harris reported. Multiple impacts across Valles Marineris and Olympus Mons. But Sarah smiled, understanding flooding her enhanced consciousness. Let them waste their energy. The nodes aren't just underground. They're connected through quantum entanglement. You can't destroy a network that exists partially outside normal space-time. Commander's right, Dr. Wong confirmed. Each attack is just feeding more energy into the system. The quantum feedback it's incredible. The Null Warriors renewed their assault on the facility with desperate intensity. But something had changed. Sarah's connection to the precursor systems had deepened, giving her an almost intuitive understanding of their capabilities. Dr. Rodriguez, she called out while effortlessly dispatching another wave of attackers. Start feeding the node's energy into the defense grid. Dr. Wong, prepare your disruption sequence. Lieutenant Harris, signal Earth Command. Tell them to prepare for possible temporal distortions. The Guardian's form pulsed with approval. You begin to understand. The precursor systems were designed to work in harmony with human intuition. More than that, Sarah replied, watching as her team coordinated their efforts through the facility's enhanced interfaces. They were designed to work with human creativity. We don't just use technology, we improvise with it. As if to demonstrate her point, Dr. Wong's voice carried sudden excitement. Commander. The quantum feedback from the Harbinger's attacks, we can use it to create a cascading resonance effect, if we time it right. Their own temporal barrier would collapse in on itself. Sarah finished, the concepts flowing naturally through her enhanced understanding. Do it. The chamber hummed with power as Wong's calculations were translated into action. Above, the Harbinger ship's temporal barrier began to fluctuate, its carefully constructed patterns disrupted by precisely timed energy pulses from the node network. Warning, the Guardian announced. The Harbingers prepare their final protocol. They will attempt to trigger a temporal collapse, destroying this entire region of space rather than allow humanity to advance. Like hell they will, Sarah growled. She reached deeper into the precursor systems, feeling the full potential of the power node network. Dr. Wong, Dr. Rodriguez, I'm giving you direct access to the node's quantum matrix. Show these bullies what human scientists can do with advanced technology. The effect was immediate. Her team's natural intelligence, enhanced by the precursor systems, began creating solutions that even the Guardians seemed impressed by. They weren't just using the ancient technology, they were improving it, adapting it in ways its original creators hadn't imagined. Multiple breaches in their temporal barrier, Harris reported. Earth Command confirms they're receiving our signals again. Reinforcements are en route. But the Harbingers weren't finished. Their ships began a complex maneuver, their forms shifting between dimensions in ways that hurt to look at. Energy readings went off the scale as they prepared to trigger the temporal collapse. If they succeed, the Guardian warned, the destruction will reach Earth itself. Sarah stood in the power node's chamber, feeling the connection between herself, her team, and the ancient systems that had waited so long for humanity to find them. In that moment, she understood why the precursors had chosen Earth to watch over. Guardian, she called out, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. You said humans dream. Well, here's something else we do. We protect what's ours. Through the neural interface, she could see her team working in perfect synchronization. Wong's quantum calculations merged with Rodriguez's power distribution patterns, while Harris coordinated with Earth's approaching forces. They weren't just fighting the Harbingers, they were rewriting the rules of the engagement. The chamber filled with energy as Sarah initiated her plan. The power nodes across Mars pulsed in harmony, creating a counter-resonance to the Harbinger's temporal collapse. You were wrong, she transmitted directly to the Harbinger ships. Humanity isn't just ready for advancement, we're ready to defend it. Now let us show you why the precursors chose us. The battle for Mars' future had reached its crucial moment. But Sarah Chen and her team weren't just fighting with borrowed technology. They were fighting with humanity's greatest weapons: innovation, determination, and the unwavering will to forge their own destiny. The hidden truth. The clash between human ingenuity and Harbinger power reached its apex in Mars' crimson sky. The temporal collapse initiated by the Harbinger ships met Sarah's counter-resonance in a display that defied conventional physics. Quantum matrices are holding, Dr. Wong reported, her voice steady despite the strain. The power node network is amplifying our countermeasures exponentially. Through the facility's enhanced sensors, Sarah watched as reality itself seemed to bend and twist around the point of conflict. But something else was happening, something the Guardian had known would occur. The final protocols activate, the Guardian announced, its form shifting through multiple dimensions. The precursor's last gift to humanity reveals itself. Suddenly, Sarah's enhanced consciousness expanded further. Through her connection to the power node network, she began receiving information that had been hidden within Mars' quantum substrate for millennia. It wasn't just technical data, it was history. The true history of Earth's solar system. My God, she breathed, the revelations flooding her mind. We weren't just chosen, we were created. Commander. Lieutenant Harris' voice carried concern. What are you seeing? The Guardian's form stabilized. The truth. Humanity's origin is not what you believed. The precursors did more than watch. They guided, shaped, enhanced. But always subtly, always allowing natural evolution to take its course. The Harbingers, Sarah understood now, they're not trying to stop our advancement. They're trying to prevent us from learning this truth. Through her enhanced perception, she could see the Harbinger ship's temporal collapse faltering. Their attack wasn't just failing, it was backfiring. The power node network, combined with her team's innovations, had created a defense that turned their own energy against them. Dr. Wong, Sarah called out, are you receiving this data? Yes. Wong's voice was filled with awe. The genetic markers, the archaeological anomalies we could never explain, it all makes sense now. We're the result of millions of years of guided evolution. But not control, the Guardian added. The precursors never dictated humanity's path. They merely expanded the possibilities. Sarah watched as more harbinger ships arrived through dimensional rifts, their forms twisted by rage and desperation. They fear us because we're not just another species discovering advanced technology. We're the inheritors of the precursors' legacy. Commander, Rodriguez broke in. The power node network, it's not just defensive. These systems, they're meant to awaken something inside us, something that's been dormant in human DNA. The Guardian's form pulsed with confirmation. The final gift. The precursors believed that humanity would one day be ready to take their place as guardians of life's potential. That time has come sooner than expected. Sarah felt it happening. Through her connection to the precursor systems, she could sense changes occurring at the quantum level, not just in her, but in every human within range of the network's influence. It wasn't mutation or artificial enhancement, but rather the activation of capabilities that had always been there waiting. They're retreating, Harris announced as several harbinger ships began dimensional jumps away from Mars. Their temporal collapse has completely failed. But Sarah knew it wasn't over. The remaining harbinger ships were gathering their energy for one final assault. Through the quantum network, she could sense their desperation, that absolute conviction that humanity had to be stopped before the awakening could complete. Dr. Wong, Dr. Rodriguez, she called out, her voice carrying new authority, initialize the final sequence. Lieutenant Harris, signal Earth Command. Tell them to prepare for widespread quantum field fluctuations. What are we doing, Commander? Wong asked, though her hands were already moving across the interface. We're accepting our inheritance, Sarah replied, feeling the power node network's energy merge with the awakening potential in human DNA. The precursors didn't just leave us technology, they left us the ability to transcend it. The Guardian's form began to merge with the facility's systems. The process cannot be stopped now. Humanity will either embrace its potential or be destroyed by the Harbinger's final attack. Through her enhanced senses, Sarah could see the truth of their situation. The Harbingers weren't just fighting to stop one species' advancement, they were fighting to prevent the return of the Precursor's philosophy to the galaxy. A philosophy that believed in potential over control, in guidance over dominance. Everyone, she broadcast to her team, what happens next would change humanity forever. Are you ready? The responses came without hesitation. Ready, Wong. Always, Rodriguez. Let's show them what humans can do, Harris. Sarah smiled as she felt the power node network reach its peak. Above, the Harbinger ships launched their final assault, channeling enough energy to rip Mars apart. But humanity wasn't helpless anymore. They weren't just using borrowed technology, they were becoming something new. Something that combined human creativity and determination with the Precursor's legacy of wisdom and power. The final battle for humanity's future was about to begin. Dawn of Unity. The Harbinger's final assault met something they had never encountered in all their eons of suppressing emerging civilizations. A species that wasn't just using advanced technology, but becoming one with it at the quantum level. Sarah felt the change rippling through human DNA across Mars and reaching toward Earth. The dormant potential left by the precursors was awakening, merging human consciousness with quantum reality itself. Through the power node network, she could sense every member of her team undergoing the same transformation. Incredible. Dr. Wong's voice carried wonder even as her consciousness expanded. We're not just interfacing with the technology anymore, we're becoming something entirely new. The Harbinger ships unleashed their combined power, a reality-shattering wave that should have torn Mars apart. But as the energy reached them, Sarah understood what the precursors had known all along. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't in the technology they could use, but in their ability to adapt and evolve. Guardian, she called out, her voice resonating across multiple dimensions. This was their plan all along, wasn't it? The precursors didn't just want successors, they wanted evolution itself to continue. The Guardian's form had begun to merge with their transformed consciousness. Yes, the Harbingers seek stasis, control. The precursors believed in endless potential. Humanity embodies that belief. Sarah reached out with her enhanced perception, connecting with her team on levels that transcended ordinary communication. Together, they weren't just individuals using advanced technology, they were becoming a new form of collective consciousness that maintained human individuality while accessing universal understanding. Commander, Rodriguez reported, his mind linking seamlessly with the power node network. The quantum field harmonics are stabilizing. We're not just stopping their attack, we're reshaping it. He was right. The Harbinger's devastating energy wave was being caught in a quantum matrix of human design, transformed by their collective will into something entirely new. Where there should have been destruction, there was creation. They're trying to coordinate a retreat, Lieutenant Harris observed through their shared consciousness. Multiple dimensional rifts forming. But Sarah could sense something else, confusion among the Harbinger ranks. Through their enhanced perception, she and her team could see the truth. Many of the Harbingers were beginning to question their ancient mission. They've never seen anything like this, Dr. Wong realized. All their experience, all their power, and they never imagined a species could adapt so completely. Sarah reached out, not with weapons or shields, but with understanding. Her transformed consciousness touched the Harbinger collective, showing them what humanity had become, not a threat to universal order, but a bridge between what was and what could be. Your mission was to prevent chaos, she communicated directly to the Harbinger consciousness. But you forgot that from chaos comes creation. The precursors understood this. Now so do we. The response came not in words, but in quantum fluctuations of surprise and recognition. The Harbingers had maintained order for so long they had forgotten their own origins, their own evolution. The cycle begins in you, the Guardian announced as Sarah and her team channeled their collective power through Mars' ancient network. Humanity shows the way forward. Above Mars, reality itself seemed to pause as the Harbinger ships hung suspended between attack and retreat. Then something unprecedented happened. The ships began powering down their weapons. They're standing down, Harris confirmed, his enhanced senses tracking every fluctuation in the quantum field. Multiple ships are initiating communication protocols. Sarah felt it, the shift in the Harbinger collective. Not surrender, but recognition. For the first time in their ancient history, they faced a species that didn't need to be controlled or suppressed because humanity had done what none had done before. They had evolved beyond the need for control. Dr. Wong, Sarah called out, feeling the power node network pulse with new purpose. Begin transmission of the awakening protocols to Earth. Lieutenant Harris, coordinate with Earth Command. They'll need guidance to handle the transformation. What about the Harbingers? Rodriguez asked, though his consciousness already sensed the answer. Sarah smiled as she felt the ancient enemy's confusion turn to curiosity. They're going to stay and watch, maybe even learn. The precursors believed in potential. It's time we showed them why. Through their shared consciousness, Sarah and her team began the work of guiding humanity's transformation. The knowledge hidden within Mars' quantum substrate didn't just contain technological secrets, it held the blueprint for a new kind of civilization, one that could bridge the gap between organic life and universal consciousness. The Guardian's form began to fade, its purpose finally fulfilled. The precursors would be proud. You have exceeded even their hopes for humanity's potential. We're not done yet, Sarah replied, feeling the quantum network expand as more humans began to awaken to their enhanced potential. This isn't an ending, it's a beginning. As the twin sons of Mars set on this new dawn of human evolution, Sarah Chen and her team stood at the threshold of humanity's greatest adventure. They had not just survived the trial by fire, they had transformed it into a catalyst for change that would reshape the galaxy. The Harbinger ships remained in orbit, that ancient mission of control replaced by a new purpose, to witness the emergence of something unprecedented in the universe's history. A species that combined technological advancement with wisdom, power with creativity, and individual consciousness with universal understanding. Humanity's next chapter was about to begin, and the stars themselves seemed to shine brighter in anticipation.